All right, we're back on Thursday. What's going on, everybody? Great to see you. Come on back in, chill, hang out with the Harmonic crew, and let's get to it. Let's do some fat finger harmonic patterns today because things are kind of at that point. But to fat finger any harmonic pattern, you need to get with the fat harmonic pattern software, get with Harmonic Pattern Collection Trading View. Send your TradingView username over to my partner Chris at HPC at sr-analyst.com. He and I had a big discussion towards the end of last week on doing some updates, signaling, optimization. So we continue to work on the greatest software program out there. Tell me a better one than this. And take a free trial. TradingView, MetaTrader, eSignal, NinjaTrader, Sierra Charts, 2-week trial for all of them. If you want, you can spend 10 weeks trying out the software. Everything else is available for free. Get started over at harmonictrader.com as a basic member. I really am coming around. I needed the last couple of weeks, and that's okay. I'm doing the Stuart Smalley. That's okay. I'm feeling better. And sometimes you just need to unplug. Did that, had a great trip up to Disney, and kiddo is back in school, and it is time to get back on with things. NASDAQ's up 335 right now. We had a really nice long just before we started. It's a T1, target 1, type 1, pure framework. Coming down right at you hard and fast. And there's big patterns that are starting to really play out. Same way. For folks trading NASDAQ right now, type 1, reaction over. We just did that before I started. And come on back down for the 2. Let's see. There's a lot to talk about. Maybe Tuesday wasn't the most enthusiastic session. I promise you I'll make that up and double today with some of the bigger patterns I'm about to show you. So I'm glad to be getting back into, like, the brain was not plugged in for the last few weeks, and now we're plugged back in. Let's get it. You got to read your mind. You got to read your brain. Got to read your body. And that's my 2 cents. But right now, great to see folks. Yes, tell me what you guys want to look at. Arivator, nice to see you. Junkie, what's going on? 886 Junkie, no less. Chase Brown, everyone else. Pete, how you doing? Come on in, everybody. What's going on here? 1 second. Are we still on? Got to make sure. Yeah, I think we're still on. Appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, we're going to see, we're going to take a look at some of these bigger patterns. I think you're looking at some big signals daily, weekly, but let's talk about relative position. We're kind of in a big retest up here, and it's still happening. If anything, we talked about this dot retest on the weekly, where that massive signal, the trigger 29,952, has now been taken out. But this check back, what's happening, was super strong. You would need to see one reaction. The other thing that I'm going to respect these big signals, but we're not there yet. Like, look at what's going on with amplified and our other indicators that, relative strength indicators to gauge, are we rolling over or not? No, firmly above the 50 level. And daily is even more dramatic. Just kind of an obvious, strong character so far. Daily, right here. I always tell you guys, especially new folks with the software, if you want to know if we're up or down, just go to HSI, Harmonic Strength Index. It's the proprietary harmonic signal. Are we above the 50 or below the 50? These are basic concepts that you only need to hear them once. We're still above the 50. We've been above the 50 since the end of July. So let's take a look at that. Let's respect that strength. Still heading higher. This could be the summer rally. You know, everyone talks about a summer rally. Well, that was it. The summer retracement, summer rally. We've quickly gone incredibly dot to dot. We're there to there. So let's gauge it. It's not there. I'll show you the last time we did dot to dot was the end of June, and we said we were going to pause, but that's a slightly different condition because check it out. You know, we hit the dot and then we cracked the 50 on both amplified and HSI. I was really clear. I told you guys it was going to be boring. July was going to be a retrace sideways to down. And now we're retesting that. But different position. This is still up, and I would expect it to continue up for another couple of sessions. I mean, let that do what it's going to do. Super early. That's one thing about the way these have been designed, to be early. Now, some bigger fat finger patterns, okay? When I talk about fat finger, the assumption is it's already completed. It's going to continue and go to target. And you can just buy it and ride it to target. I think the big one, guys, that we've seen progress is super micro. And we've been talking about this. Why? Well, on Harmonic Pattern Collection, it's a type 2 by far. Look, type 1, type 2, massive bad pattern. And we have been saying that it's not only just about the reaction, maybe to, you know, from 22 to 40. This should be a target to objective. That's $82. The other bigger deal is simply a monthly signal, which is, I'm going to show you a few big monthly signals that I've spent the better part of the year diving deep on these monthly triggers. You know, what made semiconductors explode last year, right? And data center and all of the bigger plays like the 2022, 2023 turnarounds. Most of them had HSI signals like this, monthly, big. Consider that whole cycle done. Last month was month one, number one, and with the check back, maybe that's number two, and then again, you get some kind of static breakout. It's already broken out off of that top. I mean, we could even stretch it out even more. And you know, once that clears, look out. A lot going on there. So, and I would think that's tremendously early. A couple others, big ones, guys. I think Nokia is probably the next one. We're talking massive recovery plays. I mentioned this to my group over the last few days. I started a position yesterday down around 1035, talk about fat finger. But we've got patterns here, and I've seen enough now where I gave it maybe a little more time than I should have, but still, I think in a minimum objective on Nokia, we're looking at 1274. And the thought is that between the daily and the weekly, like that, bang, bang, weekly, okay, that's a massive continuation. Massive. And then let's just dial it back here a second. Look at the monthly chart on Nokia. That a smaller pattern. And then we had an all-time pattern. Guys, I'm really thinking this is a massive breakout. All of this stuff takes time. Sure, down here 2 or 3 years ago, I looked at Nokia at $3. And it didn't do anything. Well, now it's doing stuff. And target one is 29. So that's a three-bagger. That's a three-bagger assumption. So let's go. And I love stocks. I can't tell you. I mean, that's my strongest suit. I trade the futures, but I bang the stocks. And I really feel like I'm just starting to kind of claw my way back in here. That's a couple. The other one, the big one, Oracle. Okay, I think this is one of the biggest monthly signals where Oracle, whatever all of that was about, fake data center accounting, whatever you want to say, I don't care. I'm thinking ahead. And that monthly check back, green line, it's 148, currently 153. I think, talk about fat finger, 150 is your number. Even though that traded as low as 115, 120, we're looking for this, projecting it to the right of the chart. You're looking at like this Oracle timeline, 12, 24 months, don't care. You're looking at it to go like that. And that's the low end. That's like Microsoft down at 350, 375. Well, we have to talk about SpaceX, and then I'll get into some of your individual picks you guys want to look at. But how about SpaceX? Anybody? Round of applause, SpaceX crew, right? And that's just, I don't know. I mean, I can't really do much better than what we did with SpaceX. The trigger off the dot was 106.40. The low was 105.11, and then we did 40 points. Okay, 40 points 5 sessions later. What was SpaceX? Well, we did consider that, hey, there's a pattern here. I think it's not going to be straight up, although I am looking for this to be like a permanent low, never to see 106 again. That's my hope, but I'll pile on the framework. Like, I would not be surprised to see SpaceX on the 4-hour chart. We did have this big crab pattern post IPO. Target 1, come back, maybe 129, maybe. We'll see. I mean, but 129 would be the next maximum low before this thing really develops. Again, we let the post IPO craze wash itself out, and that looked like that. I mean, we were looking at 145, and it went to 105. We got our first daily trigger down there, the dot. And that was sweet. And I don't, again, if you're not long SpaceX, or you're not looking to stash away 100 shares, 10 shares, I would be looking at this over the next month or two maximum to be, starting to put a little money there and just put it there and forget about it. Like, however this shapes up, however this retest comes in, and we turn around, you bang out this low here, you're never looking back. I mean, you're not going to look back. So there's a whole bunch like that. There's a few others, but that's it. Again, for new folks, you want to get with this, just get over to harmonictrader.com and get the trial, okay? All the new people that you want to get more SpaceX style opportunities, go to send your trading username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. And everyone else, we are doing like that. I'm sending out email with resources, so you get a discount. So check your email after activation. I mean, take advantage of that. That's going to be good to the end of the month. And if you have any questions, you can hit me up on the Discord. I'll give away one 30-day package in a little bit. Yep, great to see everybody. What's going on? Go hit me up on the Discord. Yeah, and it's all, guys, it's all free because you have to meet me halfway. Like I'm a terrible marketer, and so I put it out there because I figure if you're going to do this, okay, you got to be somebody who does the work for yourself. I can't sell you on it. I can show you what we're looking at, and the SpaceX, or the other one we talked about was SMCX last time. You guys remember me talking about this? Look at that pattern. I think this one's another massive opportunity lurking. Like SMCI, if that catches a serious bid, SMCX runs to target one at 47.72 and becomes a big winner. Talk about fat finger. Here's one more, guys. I had to start nibbling. I think I'm missing the boat here on HPQ. I have stared at this puppy for a long time. And I feel like that breakout is something that's huge. It's more about the weekly and the monthly, where this thing is going. I don't think not only all-time new highs, I think there's something Intel-ish about this. So we might not get a type 2. And I think right now you're headed straight to 37, if not higher. And if this is going to do the unthinkable, forget about it. Then that's going to be my big sleeper. So I just started, I'm definitely way late. I bought 200 little shares today. That's it. And I'll see if I get a pullback. I mean, if we come all the way back to, first of all, I'm not selling. It's actually a lot like Intel, where I bought it at 30 and it went to 18 and then it went to 140. Okay. But I want to nibble. I want to start. I don't want to be sitting there and then let this thing kind of just get away from me. The other thing that, again, simple, is it up or down question, is look at HSI. Look at what's going on here with Amplified. This is a kind of a strong indicator breakout. There was the 50 level on HSI, and this month absolutely destroyed it. Not to mention, okay, the Amplified, that's about as strong as you can get it. So interesting stuff. I like it. One other fat finger kind of long that's already completed, in my opinion. I'm looking at IBM here. Big names, safe names. IBM is look at all these weekly signals. That is a type 2, by the way, alternate bat. I don't think it's going to be down in these 230s much longer. I'd be looking for that to go back closer to like 300. So eye on that one, like Oracle. All right, a couple other ones. Sure. What's up, guys? Great to see everybody. Come on in. What's up, Danny? Baby Genius. We'll look at those. Danny wants to look at Tesla, and is Tesla going to have its day? Well, we've been looking at this retrace for a long time. All right, the 444 was a big number for us, all year. And I've been saying the same thing all year, that I thought that this would be a retrace, and then we get an oversold signal, and that's probably the continuation. Well, Tesla is giving us a dot today, this week. And this arrow was drawn weeks ago where 340 was a minimum consideration. Go to the monthly chart. Okay, Tesla just continues. It's, in this longer term trend channel, and we're, the retrace I think is almost over. Looking for, need that to turn back around, but I think you're a lot closer this week. Take it to Friday, and we'll see how we do by next week. All of this is real close. And then check out the daily chart, because we were saying all along we need to let this retrace and then show us some kind of pattern, oversold signals down here. We're drawing a shark right off the low. You're currently 335. I would just say 300's the big number. Maybe 306. So again, Tesla that comes into play starting next week, for sure. And with SpaceX getting a bid, it could be like a pro Elon trade finally. I don't get the hate. I don't understand the hating on him. I don't care either way, but man, it's just, I don't know. It's where I'll just keep my opinion to myself, but I'm just looking for signals. I'm just a guy looking for signals, looking to make a little money here. That's it, you know. And I think Tesla's a little early. I think SpaceX probably needs a little more of a retrace, but they're setting up. They're real close. A couple others. Sony for Baby Genius. We're still SNE for Sony, right? No, we're not. We're not SNE. Or what's Sony? They changed that. SONY for Sony. 23. Seems like it's been at 23 forever. Let's look at the monthly. Oof. Look at this. Sony, really interesting stuff here. Talk about, it's a monthly dot. There's a monthly dot on Sony. That's kind of like Hewlett Packard, HPQ. A lot of these legacy names producing dots, continuation signals. And again, HSI dot is your friend. Sony, that'll be official by the end of the month. Any patterns off that top? Like a crab-ish, yeah, 20-ish. That's an interesting situation, especially with that weekly right there. Weekly, like at $20.56. I'm thank you for bringing that to my attention. Let's get it on the list. Good one. Thank you, Baby Genius. It looks like this. SONY, you are added to the list. Let's go. I like those low floater kind of legacy names. That's not a low floater, but I like the legacy name, and I like the monthly dot. Monthly dot tells me HSI is talking to us, where it's a trend continuation assumption. That's it. It's like this right here. You're looking for long-term trends like that, and you're looking for retracements within the long-term trend. That plays right into what we want. Sure. Got it. Yeah, you are right, Mr. Kennedy. Sweep it and go. Chipper Flipper, what's that? CC? What's CC? Chemours. How are these chemicals doing? There you go. There you go. Are we going to get paid for that? These are old, kind of just old economy, 2.3% yield, but it's a type 2. Reminds me of Target. Target's going to be the monthly poster child for the next year or two, but it's still a type 1 reaction. Come on back down. Type 2 at 1134 is where I'd be looking at that. What about something like DuPont, DD, or Dow Chemical? DuPont up there, 153, amazing. Like that's a forever stock, in my opinion. Meaning you wait for the long-term retracement and you go. What about Dow Chemical? I guess we're talking about chemicals today. Dow, ooh, there you go. There you go. Okay, so Dow Chemical, they took it private. They brought it back out. It's doing the classic IPO. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's SpaceX or, a reissued Dow Chemical. You're going to get paid 4.58%. That's a sleeper 401k stock if I ever saw it. 2764. I would love for that to have come to 2350, but it didn't. And I think the pattern's really nice. 2764. That's the big one. I think that's another one. I'm going to add that to the list because that one's going to trigger maybe in a month or two, and then you're just never going to look back on that. So I'll add that one to the list right there. Yep, that one. I should add Dow and Chamors, but we'll come back to those. Few other ones, guys. You're on a roll. I like these picks. Really nice. Keep it going. What's going on? Yeah, TSLL. That's a good one. 886 junkie. I'll give you a better one. TSLR. This is what also, this is this 2x long on Tesla. And these instruments are great for like a secondary insight into the underlying. And TSLR here is a 2 of 2. A lot of patterns screaming down here. And this is right at 1453. The bigger numbers are like 16, was that 1690? 1680? A couple of support confirmation levels, more like 1250. You're in the ballpark. I mean, I like that one. TSLR. Look. This is the other one. The weekly. Okay, this has, to me, this has tremendous meaning. Tremendous meaning. Software is kicking out 2 patterns back to back, and with a dot this week. That's textbook. That's exactly the kind of setup, the retrace, initial inflection, come back, long-term retest, and you're banging big support. Every time that seems to get down here in that 13, 14 area, you're finding support. So, a lot here. I mean, that's something. The only thing you haven't seen is the full turnaround, but talk about, patterns looking left. That's a big one. I like that a lot. Yeah, a TSLL, I will scratch your itch there with this other. That's another 2x directional. That means the directional, that has to move. Like Tesla has to go up. Even if it goes sideways, this is going to go down. So what this says to me, the 1, the 2 back-to-back bats, and then this week you have a dot. Take it to tomorrow, and then next week, I think it's in play. Yeah, full on. Maybe. We'll do a couple more. What's up, Super Gals? Wants to look at, how are you today? Wants to look at Bull, Weeble. Weeble down here at, yeah, I mean, I've been a victim of that one from last year. And that was one that I got stopped out on. I think I was trying to hit it here at like 9, and I got taken out at like 7 or something. And it to me, it kind of lost its structure. It does seem to be turning around, but you couple of signals counter. I think there's some better plays out there. Some better plays than Bull. I'll keep an eye on it. It's on my radar right there. I don't know if I'll go back in. I think there's some other better opportunities than that. Sure. We can go look at what's Amoeba Ties wants to look at PGen, Precigen. Look at this. Look at that. That was $1. Now it's 6. Where's that going? Because when I talk about patterns looking left, that's what I mean. That was pretty ugly for a while, but then launched. I don't have anything here. If anything, you got to look at this prior bat structure, like hop level at 813 could be all you get, but I bet you this has got some monthly. Yeah, look, this is what I'm talking about. So this is a low floater. Unless you really know something about it, you're probably not going to sit in there for 2 years before it really gets going, but there you go. Monthly, guys. Monthly. I suggest go through, look at some of these monthly triggers. Like to me, Nokia, has got everything you want to see and is on its like first big pullback after launching off of a basing pattern that looks like that. Here's another obscure one, Quantum Corp, QMCO. Um, this thing has been up, doubled in this week alone. Okay, and I know I mentioned this a long time ago. The pattern was huge, but you go to like the weekly, that's a better chart. And then even recently, again, patterns looking left, they really matter. And you had a couple of patterns. And these small cap kind of low floater plays, they might take a while, but if you're anchored off of some patterns, that's what's possible. I mean, preferably want, weekly, monthly confirmation behind it, but how do you pinpoint or know exactly when it's really going to go? Trigger off of daily formations. This is something that, based on the history, I mean, it did a crazy move in 2024 all the way back down. Probably didn't even know about it back then, but now, yeah, those are some signs. Quantum stocks in general, like qubits and D-Wave, guys, I just don't think they've really started to move, but you've got patterns looking left here. You just, you wait your time, bide your time down here. Okay, that's, to me, that T2 on D-Wave, that came in last week. Down there at 16, now 21. That's big. That's big. Before it moves, that's big. So qubits, D-Wave, Quantum, IONQ, those are the bigger names. They all came off of big patterns last week. What's the other one? QTM. Well, not that one. That's the ETF. That wasn't it. It was qubits, quantum. Oh, come on. QUBT. Thank you. Quantum computing. Quantum computing probably is the laggard, and that's at $8. Currently $8.84. You get there back to $7.95. Again, I think this stuff hasn't really even developed enough after the first thrust. This was a crazy move back in 2024. You're talking 65, 70 cents, went to 26, back to 5, 25, back to 5 again, or back to 6, and I'd be looking at 8. I think this is just kind of curling up, kind of ramping up, getting ready to do something larger. Sure. I think next year is going to be the year. I think you're going to hear a whole lot about quantum and what it can do. Let's keep it rolling. A couple other ones, bigger ones. Let me just kind of update you guys on Meta. Okay, Meta's down here, lingering. 575 is the big one. I think this is a lot like Microsoft when Microsoft was down at 375. So don't sleep on that. Or if you want to look at one of those kind of derivative plays like the 2 shares, 2x long, that fraction of the price, maybe a little better leverage opportunity right there, like 23, 2150 is the zone. And, I'd be looking for kind of some kind of dot, which is maybe 19 or like $20. You're really close on this. Trying to finish up this long-term kind of consolidation, even the weekly generated. So, don't sleep on Meta. I kind of like it. I think Meta is going to have a turnaround. Sure. Couple other ones. What's up? Rudy, what's going on? What are you up to these days, Rudy? Great to see you back at the show. GLOB. What is that? Globant? All right. I don't know what that is. Information services technology. But yeah, we got patterns and we got dots and weekly. So 34. What does it say? FIFA selects Globant to create a continuous fan experience ecosystem for football fans using AI pods powered by Globe AI. Okay. I need this. So, I mean, the software is kicking out some levels, 34, 35, but I like what's going on there on the weekly. I mean, again, because of you, I will add it to my list, GLOB, and let's keep an eye on that one, because if that does get going, that's a weekly. What about a monthly? Yeah, man, there you go. There you go. Thank you, Rudy. Okay. I've never seen this before. I don't know what it is exactly. I'll have to dive in a little bit more. Oh, they've got earnings today. Okay. What they do have, though, right now is a big, deep crab. So that's kind of screaming to me, keep an eye on this. That's a big structural pattern. And then the dot is coming in, monthly dot. So we're way early. No matter what, you're way early. And then, how I break this down is I'll say to you, tell me about where's HSI. Like that monthly dot won't be official till the end of the month. But tell me about HSI. Well, that's at the 50 level. And I can be patient with this because we're just popping out of amplified. But again, this is a type 1 assumption where I know it's hard to believe, but if this pattern lines up the way the framework is supposed to go, your target one is 121. That reaction, that's a 3x, but that's a sizable move. Not to mention whatever this was IPO wise, and what you guys know what I'm going to say also. Like there was the IPO all the way back 2015, so it's been around, but just measuring this, okay, assessing the history of the action, the price action, you're at an all-time 886, and that's at $53. So you're under the 886. You've done what I think we call a cycle reset, retesting, take it to the end of the month. That's a good one. That's a really good one. The monthly chart, screaming. And I want more monthly charts that look like this. So thank you. Great to see it. What's up? So what's a question coming in here? Mr. D. Piaura, sorry for butchering that. So how many bars after the dot do you wait for the confirmation? And what book to read about this to understand that? Okay. There are videos on the Discord. So check that out. It's all free on the Discord section on the basic chat. So hit me up over on there. And again, you're looking for pattern framework, all right? Mainly denoted by the T1 or T2. Okay, then we want the dot to form. Once the dot comes in, it's after the dot that we look for that execution. Typically, we're looking for the dot and then ideal situation. Not every time, but the ideal situation is the opening price. So the dot, and that'll produce a green line, by the way. You'll see it. That produces a green bar, and that's it. That's your entry. It's really depends on where HSI is. Like because we're already there on this monthly chart, HSI is at the 50. I would be looking as soon as September 1st. But you see this configuration. Again, I'm saying you're very close on this to turn around. Check out the videos. Let's keep it rolling. A couple more. Micron from Michael Krieger. What's going on, Michael? There's your monthly, up 60. Micron, we've been saying 820 has been the number for a long time. And I think this is it's probably best served to take a look at this on the weekly because of that, because you successfully held the 50 level on amplified, if I'm just calling a moonshot here, I say Micron's probably back at 1200 in the next couple of months. Just reading the weekly, and then the daily. That's a massive breakout. That's you couldn't ask for a better setup. Okay, and again, this has been the number, that green line. All right, look, the dot comes on, no pattern. Well, there's pattern on a 4-hour chart, but just looking at the dot dynamics, look, dot comes on, and then 3, 5, 6 bars later, we retest. Okay, where does HSI pop above the 50? Right there. Bang. We clipped the 50 there. That was all last week. And now this is a big move. I mean, that's a big breakout move where you get that and likely go not only overbought on amplified HSI, that's strong AF. I mean, you should literally be looking for this to continue higher and then go up there. Like, I don't care really about it other than just saying, all right, this is going to go dot to dot wherever that dot is. I would say, an 886 back to 1200 is not a crazy thought. But today's that's a big breakout. Big. Couple others. Oh, boom, boom. Yeah, no, that's all good. Where's your PS6? Sure. For sure. Let's keep it rolling. Yeah, we can look at a few others. I think the SOX. What's up, ZH? SOX is a good one to look at because this was supposed to be the week SOX comes out of the zone. And on the weekly chart. Daily, yeah. Weekly is like this. And we came out on Friday, by the way. SOX is in a really strong position now. And if you look at the last few HSI signals, pure money. I mean, again, this is where you throw your focus to semis now. Micron looking great. Semiconductor SOX index on the weekly, one, and then there was a second, and 3 signals. That's your third signal in the last 18 months. That's a big signal. I think I did mention that we would, if this is a real strong continuation, which I think it is, to post and put up a 1618 up here at 17,000 is not crazy, but I'll get a little conservative and I'll just say, just like Micron, get me to the 886. Okay, that's like another 10% higher. And I mean, like now, next 30 days. So look for semiconductors to heat up. It's a good one. I like those. Yeah. A couple more. What's up, Nico? Great to see you guys. Chipper Flipper again. REKR. Wrecker. REKR Wrecker Systems. Told you. Remember. 70 cents. Ooh, you got me. You got me. Okay. The Vegas side of me wants to say, let's go. The conservative side of me says, let's get some signals. Weekly, all the way down there, 90 cents. It's currently 70. What is this? Commercial services. A $100 million corporation. I have to be kind of skeptical on these because they're penny stocks. I do like what I see though. I mean, look, you have a bat pattern looking left, and some of these stocks that were like those quantum stocks that were 70 cents before they went to $20. Not saying that's happening here, but this has some stuff. I mean, 87 cents is that bat. You have patterns here. Looking left, what about the monthly? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'd have to wait on that one. I'd have to, how am I going to know that this is really going to turn around? Tell me about HSI. Where's HSI? HSI is below the 50 level. So if that was above 50, I could maybe make an assumption that that's going to go higher. It's these are tricky. You got to be careful. You just have to be real patient with those. I like the idea. I mean the home run play, but I need to see a little momentum behind with this wind at my back. That's still below the 50. Yeah, a couple more. Keanu, what's happening? HubSpot. We looked at that last week. Nice. Another talk about monthly dot. That has a monthly dot, and not to mention the open bar of HubSpot. Wow, look at that. Open bar was 189.32. The low retest this month 185. Now 216. That's definitely something. If you wanted to bottom fish something that's 75% off its all-time high, those are the early signs. And the whole software sector, guys, I think it got, taken down a little too much. Let me see the daily here. Come on, mouse. All right, I'm going to put this on my list. It's a 1-2 off of that bat. So I wouldn't say it's... I thought there was something we had, though, with this. I don't quite remember, but you get onto the list, though. So go on there. Hubs is on the list now. 189 is that big number. Let's see what happens here. I don't really nothing yet. Nothing yet. But, again, not a bad. Something's down 3/4. If you're looking, we call this a recovery play. All right. It's not a trend continuation play. You're looking for this to base out and then make some progress. I think for HubSpot, I would want to see an obvious fat candle breakout, and that would tell me it's going from 50 back to overbought. Not yet. Getting there. Here's one. I don't think I mentioned this on a retrace. Guys, TerraWolf. One of those former Bitcoin miners. All right. Oversold down here on the weekly. That might need a week or two, but this produced a pattern where it's a shark down here. So you're getting closer to 15. And this one was a big winner. One of those former miners, what was that, 2 years ago? I mean, these all went a lot higher, not for the original reasons they were conceived. These were all going to mine Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin was going to go to 1 million, and these guys were going to hold Bitcoin. And then they got smart, and they got into the data processing, AI, data center business. So this one, I'm watching it. It's basically in this range right here. Still early. There's a few others. Sure, Mara. Yeah, Mara's the other where the sooner they get out of this Bitcoin mining business, the better. This has got bigger patterns. I know on the weekly, still in a downtrend. Look, we traced this out a long time ago, but nothing yet. The last signal. What's HSI doing, right? How many times I got to say that? Where's HSI? It's below the 50 on a weekly basis, going lower. So again, no opportunity until that changes. It's a really easy assessment. Again, I designed HSI based off of relative strength, but even better to be kind of a leading clear indicator, and that's telling you still lower. So be patient on that one. IREN, another one in that group, did make progress. And look, this is crossing the 50 on the weekly. And look, oversold, it's holding, and all of that was like 39 and change. And then daily has some patterns here. So of that group, I'm liking IREN, then maybe Wolf. There's others. I know there's others. I mean, Hive Hut, um, what was that? Hut 8. I mean, really? Hut 8. That was one of the big winners. That went from 10 to 120. It's backed off weekly. No, not yet. Not Hut's not ready. Hut is not ready. But I'm watching. Uh, yeah, SMCI. I'm SMCX. It's probably the way to play that for the bigger win. Jimbo Jam, CXAI. So we had a scalp on this sucker a long time ago, and it was it wasn't big. I got all hot and bothered by it, and it went from like 18 cents to 35 cents, and then right back down. And I got out at like 29. I realized I was kind of screwing around with that. That's not really the kind of low floater I want to spend my time staring at. And it's, this is, what is this? August 10th. So they had earnings yesterday. It's not really, there's much better opportunities than this. Like Nokia for me. You want to play a low floater? Go fat finger long some Nokia right now. And, we'll get to 13 and then we see. Couple others. Yeah, those, not bad idea, but Chase Brown wants to look at SES. SESAI. What do we got here, Chase? Nice. All right. We want to play with the low floaters, the penny stocks. They should look like this. XA level. Big bat. Software is printing that pattern. Screaming, right? I said this last time. It should be obvious. You want to dip down into these super low floater penny stocks. They better have patterns. What's the other thing they need? They better have a dot after the T1. So you got T1, 886 at 60 cents. Yesterday was first signs of confirmation, but that still needs to check back, and that's as low as like, pretty much a little bit like 53, 54 cents. I would take that into next week, but well, why not get that on the list? I'm not. Again, I want higher quality names than this, but if we were to get that, we get a dot next week. What about HSI? Okay, HSI still, that's turned around, not above the 50 yet, but maybe a few more days. Okay, in the next week. What about the daily? That's a weekly chart, by the way. The daily looks pretty good. The daily might need a day or two, but look, HSI is above the 50, Amplified's kissing the 50, price has yet to move. All your confirmation is like right there. So this is a 50 cent kind of proposition, but we can wait a couple more days, like Tuesday. Bring this back up on Tuesday. We'll see where we are. You waited this long, you can wait 2 more days. Get a clear signal. Wow. Yeah, I mean, we've been here before. 30 cents to 360 and all the way back down. That's how you should think of this anyway. Like a speculative play. Like if it goes from 50 cents to $1.40, those are your minimum levels. Give it next week. Genius, what are we doing? What's that on? What is that? He wants to look there at. I just missed your symbol there. What was that? Let me come back to you. Bootstrap wants to look at Chipotle after the burrito I had a few weeks ago. It's no wonder the stock is down like this. You got a bad pattern, but boy, that was a bad burrito. It was really bad. I don't know. This was a big trending play. Ever since they went 10-for-1 split, this thing's been crushed. But you do have a bad pattern at $31. I would need a dot. You know, I really want clear signals, guys. And that's a type 2. Let me blow this up. Check it out. We're back-to-back patterns here. Target 1, up, achieved, back for the retest. I mean, look at this. This is nuts. I mean, are you kidding me? Perfect hop. I mean, hop was at 28.10. The low was 28.04. Hop, harmonic optimal price. Absolutely amazing. If you're not familiar with that, check the videos in the Discord. They're in there. There's a trade management video, and we even talk about that in some of the HSI dot videos, but that's pretty good. What I would need to see is one more dot, yellow dot, somewhere in the 3150-ish. And that's going to take another green bar, a green day, if you will. What about the weekly? Because I know this has been crushed. Weekly? All right, maybe I got to give their burritos a second chance because that's a nice bat pattern. Maybe I go to a different location and try a different burrito. 3171, guys. You got me. You got me. I'm interested. And a monthly? You're even. Look at this. Who did that? Was that you, Chase? No, that was Bootstrap. Bootstrap, well done. You got the software right because it sure looks like it. 3171. It's an 886 off of the 2023 low, but this is where, look, software is designed to pick out patterns based on alignments and ABCD structures. All right? That's the kind of thing you want to see, but that's why we then go for the confirmation because that helps us pinpoint the area. This could be a big turnaround play. So on you go. You go to the list here. Yeah, we can look at, I'll look at Bitcoin in a minute, guys. Maybe I should say that a few times. Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. Because we're getting closer. But we'll see. CMG. Nice. It's on the radar. Got a few. Cactus Leo wants to look at RUM. R-U-M. Rumble. Like this. Or Rum Group. I guess they changed their name. Weekly. I know this had didn't it have a bat pattern down here? Hold on. Yeah, look. 772 was a bat. Remember the hop? Oh my goodness. Hop level 452. Almost perfect. Not quite there. Maybe this is worth another look. Because this is going to break out. This is going to turn around. The weekly or the daily oversold was back at $6. You know, again, you need development. What's the nothing on a monthly? I really love these monthly signals, guys. Monthly dot. That doesn't have it. But, you know, I that is on my list. RUM right there. Sure, a couple other ones. Mr. Ken wants to look at Neo. Neo has patterns. Now it does have patterns. That's your weekly, but I did notice this last week. It's the daily was back-to-back patterns. Now, it hasn't done much. Look, back-to-back patterns, 470-ish. I need a dot, though. You're retesting today. That's going to be next week again. Neo and Rivian, these are all kind of development opportunities. Rivian it has been in this $15 area for a long time, but steadily drifting higher. Daily, weekly is like, this was our assumption on the weekly Rivian chart, that we were doing a type 1 reaction. We've been talking about this since last year, And then if it did check back that 1450, 1430 area, I mean, again, eventually this will head back to $21. It's kind of a return move. But where's HSI? Again, go. HSI, tell me. Are we below the 50 or above the 50? We are below. So don't worry. I mean, wait on it. You'll get HSI to turn up where the price action will be nominally higher, and then you'll get that trigger. Okay, wait on it. Neo, Rivian, again, let's probably like a week or two, or maybe they're a September consideration. Yeah, you got it. A couple more. What's up, Greg? Welcome. Oh man, you're late. How you doing? Mr. Sejober, WYFI. White fiber. White fiber. White fiber. Data processing. Okay. Daily. It's pretty good. Earnings are today. Or they were yesterday, right? All right, not bad. I mean, was an IPO, and it did everything that we want to see in an IPO. Go out, do your founder mania stage, and then have your slow digestion 886 reset. Give us some signals and go. And it went from 10 to 44 to 20. That's how small caps roll. And now heading back up. It's a pretty good position. I don't have anything immediately to jump on here. And no offense, I just bring it back up. Like if we're back at like 25, I would take a look at it. Yeah, I think it's, a low floater, super low floater. Few more. What else you guys got? Let's do a couple more. DRAM for Mr. Krieger. We like this. We like DRAM. I mean, I think this is one of these ETFs that, yeah, look, the only thing we didn't get was a dot on the retrace, but wasn't this a 4-hour? Yes, it was. So DRAM was one that we did talk about on the retrace, hoping to get, we didn't get a daily signal, but it's on my list. It's up 3 today. XA level's 57. It went lower than the hop at 50. I think this is setting up the breakout though. I like that one. I do. I haven't done anything with that yet, but I'm watching it. Like Micron for me is where you want to be. And what was the other one? I guess this photo. That was the other ETF. I don't think that's ready. That was a new IPO, the photonics thing. Yeah, not ready on that one yet either. I've got my eye on it though. I will say I've got my eye on Google, guys. Okay, I think wherever this ends up, you're looking for an oversold. You're 345. I'm telling you, if you get back to 296, anywhere in that ballpark, you're looking at a massive low, end all be all, continuation low. Skyjinx? Yeah, Skyjinx, SKYX. I'm joking about that. Is it that? No, it's come on, what is it? Give me a symbol. That was a new one. Post that symbol for me, please. Yeah, a couple other ones. PT. Cooler? Isn't that cooler? Oh, I was thinking that KB. Cooler. Technology, $3. Earnings, another one today. $143 million company. Shark, great, not bad. I mean, another low floater here. What is this relatively new or no? Not really. Well, that went crazy back in 2024. It was like in the quantum trade. It's interesting. What about the monthly? Like maybe the monthly's got some dots. There you go. I thought so. Okay, check back correct. Industrial machinery. I like it. We did check back. This is what someone asked earlier. Okay, where in the dot do you look for the opportunity? At what point? Well, the dot forms, all right, and it should retest. That's what it did last month. This month, if it's green, you go. Like we get the check back. That was a hard down. All right, now it's turning around. Now there's like the first green month, and then again, I'm going to repeat myself. Are we above or below the 50? Yeah, HSI is above the 50. I think that's you get on the list there. You are on the list as a low floater. You got to bring that back. All right, keep that on my radar for me. I put it on my screen. The exact trigger was 262. It's 311. I like that. If we were to get a positive month, or maybe next month, and we get above the 50 on amplified, then you could run. Again, I categorize a lot of positions, like a continuation, a recovery, and then there's those low floater penny style turnarounds. This would be kind of a low floater, almost a penny stock. E-Funk wants to look at light. That's a new Photonics. Photonics is the other one. But I think, if you want to play around, yeah, that's this month. That's this month. Can't really, you got to let that settle out. But if you want to play Photonics, guys, just go for Corning, GLW, and wait for this to get oversold. Retest it. That's the daily. This has got a long history. And it was 260, got crushed. Weekly is right there. So GLW is probably going to set up and retest in the next few weeks, and that would be a go. If you want to play that Photonics trade, look, I would say we're like there. Same place relative that we were back in December. You had a retest. There was the dot, and then you took off. I would say the same type of thing. The retest is like, it's 163. You want to look at that like 135, 130. But I like it. These are themes you're going to hear a lot about in the next 12 to 18 months. On top of the whole data center trade, you're going to hear about photonics. You're going to hear about quantum. And then you're going to hear about power generation, energy. Just have to kind of give a high five to Valero. Guys, Valero. Just look at that. Dreams come true. Valero is the poster child for why we go with these trending stocks and look for it on a retrace. And the last retrace, incredibly, was that check back on that dot at 304, now almost 340. That's why we do what we do. Even though the pattern, look, you had a daily pattern, a deep crab there. And I think it's important that people understand this. Okay, there's a framework. You get a pattern. If you don't have confirmation, like if we don't print a yellow dot, T1, and then some kind of dot signal, there's really no trade. And with this, straight through, and the bullish, what I call counter signal, said this trend is so strong that we already got oversold. We're going to continue. We're going to blow this out based on that dot. And again, where's HSI? What is that doing? I mean, you could have said here, like if you were going to try a short without a dot, That wouldn't have been until about there at about 310, 315. But all you did is a sideways dud. I mean, it's really important. It's not difficult. Just you guys need to see it. That's what a failed pattern looks like. No confirmation, counter signal, and just continue to rock. A couple that a few others. Like I would be remiss if I did not kind of bring up some other plays that you're going to hear a lot more. So the uranium trade. All right. A lot of these I mentioned a couple weeks ago. They had patterns, big washout. Okay, UROI and UEC are the two. Uranium royalty. These reach targets. So now what you're looking for, can we get a retest? Because that's where larger possibilities can truly unfold. The weekly was there, and UEC is the other one. They bounced. They bounced. But what I'm looking for is the end of the big retrace and continuation. UEC is like this. All right, 1050 is the big number. I haven't done anything with it yet, but I'm looking for that because I think once these bottom out, you're going to look for them to run into next year. The other ones, so some of those UAV, Velo, this thing, another one, big high flyer to 30, all the way back down. Okay, at $10, you're currently 15 and change. You're not going to miss anything, but if we get back under 14, 13-ish, that's a big development play because the trend is a little sloppy, but this is a firm uptrend. A bunch of these are coming our way. What was it? There was one other one. Oh, TE. So this was in that portfolio of the guy, Oshbrenner, Leopold, 25-year-old, took 200 million to 10 billion or whatever it was. This is one of his stocks. Well, this is now setting up. You're at 497. Look back down here really soon. Talk about like low floaters, a few dollars to go to 10 or 20 possibility. They look like this. It's on an uptrend. That's called development. All right. It got on our radar way back here when it was the mania back in May, but there was the T2. And I would just say that this is washed out here. This is the continuation point. That's at like 420. Keep an eye on that one. That's TE. A couple other ones. Oh, we did talk about this Neuronetics, right? Way back when. And then it popped. And you went from, what was that? Like beginning of the year was $1. We started looking at like $1.50. It's $3.35. But the weekly chart is interesting. So we looked at STIM a long time ago, but this is like this is a real situation case study of patterns looking left. Gartley, Shark, Bat, all of that, took its time. We've been down here at the $1, $1.30 level for a couple of years. Well, you might say I missed it. No. Consider that like a warning shot, and we'll look for a retrace where this could definitely lead to a larger development. This was my arrow. Last time we talked about this, I said your consideration is T1 at 1090, 1089. You want to play those low floater type plays. They look like this. Couple more. URA for uranium, sure. But before I go there, DDD. Yeah, ENYO 3D. DDD is another one. Okay, down there, going sideways. But again, we have patterns looking left. We sure do. We have some confirmation. That's a little bit lower, coming off the low at 180. It's currently 360. That's the weekly. Where's the monthly? Looks like that. It's a pattern. It's not the best, but I think this was a daily situation. I'm definitely 3D. I like this. I like 3D. There you go. Now I'm getting back to it because of this. Are we above the 50? We sure are. HSI and amplified. That's a really strong position. That's like, I don't want to compare the two and be misleading, but that's kind of like where Micron is on the daily. But that's a monthly chart. Daily chart looks like this. 3D systems. Overbought. Well, look at that framework. All right, so put it on the radar, guys. I do think this will come back. It will. 3D systems will give you a retrace play, and it might be as low as 240, 239. So don't get crazy. You don't have to jump on it. The 1 and the 2 are done. But I'll look at that. Like, I think one more retrace on that will basically cinch it. Yep. SKHY was Sky Inc. SK Hynix, sorry. That's the big Korean DRAM provider that up 13. This is an ADR, right? Yes. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. What about the hourly? SKHY, that should be on my radar. It's not. SKHY. Yeah, that's a big name. That will generate. That's going to be like a SpaceX thing. Let it give you the signal. I know it's been as low as 130. It was almost 200 when it first came out. Plenty of time here. Plenty of time. It's up 12 today. No biggie. We will get another opportunity there. Yeah. URA for Mr. Genius. Baby Genius, they call him. URA, hourly, yeah, 45. But wait, this was something bigger. Look, weekly. So if you're a believer in power generation, I am, and uranium is going to be in high demand, you want to look for weekly oversolds like that. 38.80. Now 48. Anything on the monthly? Okay, monthly's, look at that. Monthly's a bat off of that pivot, but $40. That's, you did the 1 and the 2. You can't really see it, but it was pretty crazy. Type 1, type 2. I like UEC better. That's a nice one. I'm not going to argue there, though. Look, the daily. There's a type 2 Gartley. I like UEC. Of that group, UEC more than UROY or URA, but URA is nice. You're playing the long term uranium demand. Okay. Got to get to this. Gold. Gold, guys. Gold. Gold. You can't see it yet, but this is a big deal. This Gartley, all right, big thrust, big reaction off of the 39.90 support low we talked about. Like literally, first we were like 4,400. Okay, that was really the first target, and then we dipped lower, and I said I don't think we're gonna do much more than like a 39.90 test. And we have signals down here. Look, the arrow, dot, all of that. Putting in a low. Again, this stuff bottoming like it always does seasonally. June, July, August. And then you're going to get out of August and you're going to start the march back above 500. Sorry, 5,000. Maybe even 5,200, and I'm talking by year's end. This is back. If we're not above 5, we're really close. And then of course Bitcoin. What are you doing? Like really, what is Bitcoin going to do here? Sitting at 63,000. What's our target? It's 39,000. It's 39,000 or October 6th, based on the time chart, all of that. I just don't think there's anything yet. Like if you're a big crypto believer, I'm not. I'm just purely in there for speculative reasons. I still say it's going to repeat the same cycle that it's done every bear year, which has been a 786 retrace. Also, what do we need? Monthly? We need a monthly dot. It's trying to put in this dot. Okay? But that means the candle for the month has to be bullish. And it's having a tough time. It is having a tough time. Michael Saylor, as we said last time, Super Weenie himself, sold Bitcoin. He tells people, you don't sell your Bitcoin, but I'll sell my Bitcoin. What a disappointment. Really a disappointment. I'm going to stick with the harmonics. Harmonic level here means we need a dot. We are oversold. Are we overextended? Not yet, but we're oversold. What I'm looking for is how we shape up the month. And I've been bearish since November, super bearish since December, and totally capitulated when we broke that at 107. It was that candle right there. When we took out these lows, because we were supposed to do the launch up to 160, and that failed. So once 107 was violated, I said, that's it, and we're done for now. That was over. And we've been down. We're still looking for 786. That will come in. I think it's more about time even than price. I'm not, if it's 63 or 43, doesn't matter. I think it's finish the job here. Get down. I think the sooner you break down, the better. You got to break under 57,750 to do that. Is there anything here? You're looking at just basic Fibonacci retracements, and again, I think people get Fibonacci wrong. It's just a measuring kind of framework, ballpark starting point. 382. Okay, looking at 382. Tell me what's going on there. Nothing. All right, and then what? 382, 50 levels, 618. We're at the 618, which is golden ratio. And the 618 that's a critical point. We're pausing. Not a surprise. You're pausing for now. That's fine. I still don't see anything, even in price action individually, indicator readings, any way you want to look at it, even if you're just looking at individual bars. Is there anything that's significant that's developed here, like a secondary low, a 3-bar breakout? There's nothing here. And I have to bring this up because I'm in the same way that I've been looking for lower prices on Bitcoin. I've been firm about what XRP was going to do. And there's your arrow down. And we've been looking for 75 cents on XRP for a long time, if that even holds. So far, that's a 786 right there. You're at the 786. I'm looking for a full 886 retracement for XRP. That's like 65 cents, if even that holds. Again, if you were looking at this from a basic Fibonacci perspective, all right, you first look at the 382. Tell me what's going on there. Not much. You failed that. You will go to the 56. You failed all of that. And every bar has been down. Look at those two just really weak, barely green candles. And every time you put in a green candle, an XRP fan's like, yep, Future of finance. Look at that. We're bullish. We go to all-time new highs. We're going to go to $10, $100. I mean, again, you really have to be careful with what people are saying out there, especially in this crypto space. All of those posts will not age well. Will not age well. And I have shared to you my story on XRP, and I went through that drawdown and I got out. I was lucky to get out at like 250, 240-ish, and it's all the way back down. I had a big chunk. Even the big winner that I had, which was Stellar Lumens, same type of deal. I was out of there around 50 cents, and now look at it. It's $15.94. Then there's still nothing here for that or any of them. You know, I've maybe once a month now, I'll go and take a peek. You know, Zcash, anything there? That's holding up. I don't know. I have my thoughts on that, but you know, of the laundry service that is. But I'm not longing that. You know, and again, I had Zcash down here, and I puked it out. It was like a year ago, and I missed out. So you know, not really happy about that. But it happens. And if anything, Zcash, what it do? It failed the 886. This is probably, there's maybe others that are stronger that I know about, but I'm just, you know, anybody brings up any crypto, I'm going to be super skeptical. There's the 886 on that. Failed. It's probably a little bit lower. I'll tell you, gold over crypto, period. Give me gold. Yeah, I'll take gold down there at, you know, a fat finger long on gold right now, 4,400, and hold it over any crypto or Bitcoin. And if we get down to that 39K on Bitcoin, fine. I mean, I'll look. I'll need to see some other things develop, but I'm not there. Listen, NASDAQ's like this, guys. I didn't even look at S&P 500, which is, you know, right up here at all-time new highs. 7,800. Our bigger levels, our bigger targets are still above 8,000 on S&P. And if you go back and look at the trend channel, I mean, that's just absolutely impressive. Absolutely impressive. I'm surprised we haven't done more of a retracement, but we've just checked back. This is a weekly chart. So last week was the first test of these bigger signals. Maybe it'll be like the last time for S&P, where we poke through and it kind of goes sideways and then generate another signal, but that's going to be at a higher level. Look, I'm super bullish stocks. And that the whole bull market, everything you're looking at, just keep projecting it to the right in the same slope that it's going. It's you know, you're this whole I don't know, there's all the bearish talk you see out there. The market's going to crash. The market's, you know, most overbought in history. All of that. I mean, you're going to have retraces along the way, but this long-term trend is still intact, and our job is to wait for the retracements individually on the index, line up those opportunities and hit them. Exactly, Greg. I hear you. We'll look at CLNE next time, guys, and Castles Made of Sand. We'll look at Oklo next time. I think those are like the quantum stocks, retracing, trying to stabilize, turn around, but they're fine. I think it's something you're going to want to really be into. It's going to take time, but those are all going to be themes for into the end of the year and into next year. Again, I don't know what else. Like, we get through these midterms, maybe we have a typical, some kind of retrace for the midterms coming up. But after we get through early November, guys, there's not going to be much to go on. You know, the market's going to have money thrown at it like it's had for the last many years. and nothing changes on that. So you project that longer term uptrend continuing to the right, and don't get over your skis on the bearish talk. Just wait for the retraces. I didn't give away a 30-day package. If somebody wants it, you do HPC 30 before I get out of here. One person. It's over here on the Discord anyway. So I feel like this week, really the first week I've been back into it. And hit me up over on the Discord. Okay. And then we'll be back on Tuesday. Yeah. No, if nobody puts an HPC 30 in a second, I'm going to be done. No, baby genius. And you can't have already won. So you guys, all right, I'm taking it away. All right. AB Lopez, you win. I was about to take it away. AP Lopez, I need your TradingView username, email, full name, and we'll give you a 30-day package. Everyone else on the Discord, okay, just there's a guy that's on there that's soliciting people. I don't have a trading program. I'm not asking for money. Get all the trials for free and then subscribe. And if you have questions or you just want to check it out, hit me up over in the Discord, okay? Everything starts at harmonictrader.com. Send that TradingView username to hpc at sr-analyst.com. And that's what I have for today. Folks, have a great weekend. Really enjoy it. We're going to finish out August. And I think things are going to get very interesting. But look at all of the symbols we talked about. SMCI, SMCX, Nokia, a few others. And we'll bring it back on Tuesday. Great session. Thank you, everybody. It was much better than Tuesdays. Take care. Go get them. See you on Tuesday, 12:30-ish. Peace out.